Hey, everybody. Super excited about this chat today with a company that's reinventing, disrupting the global payments and payroll space at Papaya Global. Letitia, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing well. It's cold here in Boston, so we're having to struggle through it. But really excited for this chat. Before we dive into who's Papaya Global, maybe introduce yourself. You have a really compelling and interesting background.
Yes. Okay. I'm Leticia. I'm the SVP Payments for Papaya Global, a fintech company in payroll workforce payments. And I have 20 years experience and 15 in payments. I'm passionate about payments. I work for all the main players in the payments industry. I work for banks. I work for the network provider, and I work for fintechs.
Well, that's amazing. A background. Work for banks. You work for Swift. I could
Indeed.
spend an hour talking about that, but maybe talk about Papaya. What was the founding story of the company, and what was its original mission to today?
Yes, let's start. The beginning of the story about Papaya, it's about payroll, okay?
Hmm.
The idea was to have a platform, unified platform, aiming to help all the global companies to have visibility on all their payroll process. We are talking about payslip, what's the right amounts to pay taxes in India, in French, in all different countries. And it's tricky when you are a global company, you might not have people on the ground in every single location. You might have global team sales, let's say in India, but maybe you don't have an HR partner there. And the idea behind was to have a technology platform, put it everything within one unique technology platform to serve and to help the company with their payroll process. It's the beginning of the Papaya story. But we did not stop here. We started with payroll, okay? And to be honest, it's an old-fashioned industry. We try to
Hmm.
make it much more fancy. And we started with the payroll management, okay? And we made a big acquisition, Azimo. It's a payments company. And thanks to that, we were able to do end-to-end process from the payslip, the calculation, until the payments to the beneficiary or to the authorities. You know, behind every salary, you need to pay taxes. And the taxes you pay in Boston is not what people are paying in Singapore or in France. It's a very complex, landscape, and we make it very simple for our clients from a payroll story, where we started with the payslip, the calculation, to the end to end, from the calculation until the payments to the beneficiary, to the workers, the payments to the authorities, pensions, everything related to payroll and workforce.
Amazing mission and vision. I think it's fair to say globally payroll's a mess. That's my words, not yours. But you really focus on bringing automation and AI into an industry that's not been changed for quite some time. So how does that work exactly? How does AI, enhance efficiency, accuracy of payroll services, and all the repetitive tasks that payroll managers have to grind through every week or month?
AI is our DNA, is in the
Hmm.
DNA of the company, is critical. We are bringing technology to this industry, okay? And behind the scene, what we are really working from an AI standpoint is all the data. We are talking, just to let you know, Evan, we are talking about sensitive data, complex data. And this is where we are using AI. We are also using AI because behind the scene, when you process payments, okay, to beneficiary and so on, there is what we have a payments orchestrator. What is the best route to use to make sure that the payments will land on time? It's critical. When you talk about, Evan, just give you an example. When you talk about payments, you are waiting to receive any kind of payments. If I pay you 3 days before, 5 days before, good for you. You will love it. You say, great. I was expecting the payments end of month. You pay me on the 15th. That's great. You can't do that for payroll payments. Date is crucial. You can't pay before, you can't pay late. You people are expecting their payroll payments on the D-Day. And this one, there is a technology behind. All the mechanism behind is the reverse one. The technology behind the scene is we make sure that when do you want the event to be paid, and we will have the mechanism to make sure that it will happen. It's a total different mechanism to do not pay as fast as we want, to make sure that according to the rail, this is where we have AI and so on, according to the rail I will use, the complexity in these currencies, in this country, the mechanism is different. And this is the technology we have behind and the value we are bringing from a payroll payment standpoint.
Amazing opportunity. So you're riding on top of a wide number of trends from cloud to, crypto to freelancing and other emerging, trends. I've been a small business owner and freelancer now for almost 10 years, and I agree, payments are a complete mess. It's the most a frustrating part of being a business owner. But what other trends in global workforce management are you sort of tracking and following?
Okay, about trends, two things. First of all, you have the trends on payments, okay?
Hmm.
And then we will, deep dive on payroll payments. From a payment standpoint, what you see, you have a verticalization effect. People are serving per industry, okay?
Mm.
Different industry, different needs. And this is something we are taking into account even for the payroll. From a payroll standpoint, what's happening right now, the big companies, they try to optimize their FX. It's critical right now. You have to imagine that when we talk about payroll payments, is the biggest liabilities for most of the companies. Okay, you need to make sure that you will optimize the way you manage liquidity behind. Okay, and this one is critical in the payroll payments industry, and we address that. On top of that, in terms of trends, we have a request for early earned salary. Let's say, Evan, you are paid on a monthly basis. Maybe you want to receive your salary in 4 different payments, one every week. This is something that this kind of trends we are getting. We can see also a lot of buzz around the wallet workers. Like you have, the company will open a wallet, but to streamline the process, we are considering to open wallet also for the workers to make it more efficient. And then you can have plenty of possibilities from a loan standpoint, everything related. We have the data, we can provide the better services. It's a very dynamic area from a payment standpoint, much more. We have verticals, to be addressed to make it, like you take the shipping industry, you take commodities industry, specific industries with specific needs. And from a payroll standpoint, on top of that, we have, for instance, the early earned salary. People want to get their salary earlier, on a weekly basis instead of a monthly basis. And it's possible because we have the data. We know that what will be the salary at the end of the month. We can split the payments. With our engine, we can make it. It's a different dynamic, but it's great. Many things happening.
Oh, fantastic. Let's talk about some of the cultural adaptations and challenges that your clients face. A global workforce, incredibly complicated to maintain and run. And, every country, every locality is has its own unique requirements. How do you address those regional differences, cultural differences, language, currencies? That sounds like quite a task.
Okay, you will be surprised, but the first difficulty we are facing is the terminology.
Mm.
The way you speak about anything, the tax and so on, may differ from a country to another. We are not talking about the same glossary, and we make it in a simple way for our clients within our platform. Like when we are talking about taxes, we have 20, 30 different ways to talk about taxes, but on our platform, it will be only one way to make it easy and something that the CFO can consume easily in terms of information. How do we manage the complexity is also about what can be shared and so on. There is a lot of privacy we are talking about confidential data. It's critical. You need to make sure that, and according to the culture, some are, in some countries, people are sharing information, easily. In some other countries, nobody will share, like it's very sensitive. You different things. We try to make it simple within our platform. We have high level of security and compliance. We make
Mm,
sure that whatever is in the platform is in line with the regulatory, rules within the country.
that's fantastic. So when I started my business 10 years ago, I really built it all on PayPal at the time that, it was pretty revolutionary to do web and mobile payments. It was kind of unheard of at the time. Of course, we've moved on a lot since then, but still, user interfaces, user experience, customer experience has never been more important. And mobile first is, of course, the way of doing business in a lot of the world. How do you build in a kind of seamless and user friendly experience into the products? Like, what's your process or approach?
Okay. First of all, whatever we put in our product roadmap, what we decide to build is based on the feedback from our customers.
Mm,
Okay, they are coming with specific needs, and we will make sure we address that. We don't decide something, like by the side. It's always, getting the feedback from the market. Okay. On top of that, we are a technology company. How can we use it? But not only that. What we realize, you will be surprised, but most of the company right now, they try to remove any manual, contact. You will go on the
mm,
website, it's great. And if you have a question, too bad, because you will get, this is not the way we use AI. The stupid, friend who will ask you, do you have a question, Evan? I do not understand your question. And
mm,
it can take hours. We believe that you can be a technology company, but you still need the human touch. When we are talking about payroll payments, it's sensitive. You can't mess up. You have no choice. Failure is not an option. And what we are doing is our concept right now is, yes, be a technology company with AI, with automation, but we decided to have people on the ground to support real people, not
mm,
a AI tool or chatbot or whatsoever. Like, it's a real people who will answer to the phone or to your email. We try to we believe at Papaya, and it's the human touch is important. We will automate the process. We will make sure it works. We have technology in our solution. But the day there is something that you need to talk to a human being, you will have a human being and not a robot or whatsoever answering your call. And this one is very critical for us because we are not doing any kind of payments. We are not talking about paying an electricity bill. We are
right.
talking about the salary behind what's happening. People, they have their mortgage, they have maybe the school to pay. It's critical.
Mm.
That's why it's important for us to make sure that if something happens, someone will be there, answer your call. And we really believe that technology plus human touch is the best combo.
Wow, that's a mic drop moment. I'm going to steal that. Technology plus the human touch. Brilliant. Well, let's talk a little bit about technology. We're not going to do a deep dive into the tech stack. We could do that maybe a different day. But, what are some of the tech innovations sort of on the stack that allow you to integrate, into a customer's environment? How difficult is that to get a new customer up and running? How fast can you do it?
Yes, the integration is, to be honest, that's not the most difficult part.
Hmm.
When you look, and you mentioned, like, you say, from a payment standpoint is always complex, is always the mess, and you are right, Evan. It's not on the integration. The complexity is to make sure we process the payments. To make it happen, what do? Is we will have what we call accounts validation. Okay, it means we will make sure before to send the payment, we will test it. Look, we have penny testing, we have account validation. Make sure that if, let's say, a payment has to be sent to Evan, what we will do, we will check that, okay, the account number is correct, the bank account number belongs to Evan, and we will, be able to make sure the payments will be, processed successfully. That's the complexity behind. It's not on the onboarding, it's not on the integration. the complexity is on the payment processing. And to make it right, what we are doing penny testing, we are doing accounts validation. I give you an example that people might not think about. Let's take a woman in any country, in France, because I'm French, okay? I could give Singapore because I love Singapore, but let's take France. The person got married. We will send the payment instruction. Maybe the name change. And what will happen? You will have a mismatch between the name where she has their maiden name and where she has their spouse name. And this one might, the end story is the payment might be rejected. By testing up front, we will know that there is something to check. We know, oh, the name doesn't match the account number, and we can solve it before the day we need to send the payment. This is where the complexity is coming from, is on the payment processing. And this one, we address that in the platform.
Oh, fantastically interesting. So you serve so many markets, but also industries. We got the big NRF show happening, the big retail show happening in New York City coming up. I imagine retail is a big industry you serve. Any particular industries that you focus on, or of course this is cross industry?
Yes, we have more and more requests, and we are addressing that right now. Is when the industry have a distributed, workforce like all over the world. Okay, I give you example of some use case we addressed with specific industry. You might have in your company, you might generate revenue in Europe and in the United States, but part of your team might be in India. You can have call center, R&D, and you have a mismatch between the country where you generate your revenues and the country where you have maybe a big part of your workforce. And we will address that because they will open a wallet, maybe in USD, maybe in Euro, and on a monthly basis or weekly basis, we will make sure we pay those people. But we make it in an easy way. They do not have to open a local bank account. It might be tricky for them because they will need to see from a treasury standpoint to make sure that they transfer the money. They don't have revenue there, okay, in that country. If they only have R&D, call centers, they don't generate revenue, but they have cost there. They have workforce cost. And our solution will address that. They might decide to open a wallet in USD, in Euro, in any currencies, even in Indian rupiah, for instance, but we will make sure it's centralized on their end. They do not need to go to a local process with a local bank.
Wow, fantastic approach. So you have so many customers in so many countries, it must be tough to call out one or two, but any favorite children you want to mention, brands, logos that you're allowed to talk about?
I don't want to mention any logo right now, but in terms of industry, we have right now we are serving a shipping company, oil and gas, because exactly what I told you about the distributed workforce. The value of our solution is for multi-countries, enterprise. Even if you have only one single country where you are operating to, you can use our solution. It's nice, but the real value is when you need to deal with different regulation, different countries, that's the value. And when you want to optimize your treasury flow and make it easy. Right now, you will be surprised, but so many big companies, they don't have visibility. If you tell them how much does it cost from, with the FX cost and so on, how much does it cost the workforce on a monthly basis globally, they need to contact every single finance director in the different countries and compute the data. Right now, you don't have this complexity. It's solved with Papaya and in a secure and compliant environment, of course.
Yeah, I guess so many people are doing that manually. It's unbelievable. You touched on compliance. Of course, the flip side of that is security. I can't imagine anything more sensitive than payments. And as you work for Swift, you work for banks around the world. What's your philosophy and approach there when it comes to cybersecurity and the threats that are out there today, which are quite insidious?
Yes, okay. We are a regulated entity because we are holding EMI license, e-money license. Okay, it's critical for us. We are not only regulated. We need to be, like GDPR compliance. You have tons of, we talk about compliance fraud, but behind what we do the full set when we onboard clients to make sure everything is right. We do also check on the beneficiary. We have screening. We screen all our transaction. This
Oh,
is
wow.
what we do. Okay. Of course, we have a cyber dedicated team. Okay, it's critical. I think they will be the best to talk about that better than me. But no, you need to be cyber proof in a
Yeah.
way that. And what we are doing also, what is very critical, and people don't realize when a company is opening a wallet with us, we are not a bank per se.
Mm,
Okay, but the money will be first of all will be segregated. It's not mixed
mm.
with our money, corporate money, or other clients' money. It's segregated and it's safeguarded. If something happens, it belongs to the customer. It's really where we are bringing insurance, and on top of that, to make sure we take liability on the payments.
Oh,
As
wow.
long as the money is on the wallet, we are liable. And this one, I can tell you, it's a game changer for the companies working for us. You transfer the burden to a company.
Yeah, that's amazing. Kind of unheard of. Well done. So there's so many trends. It's tough to talk too far in the future, and you're sort of living in the future now. But any future opportunities, tech trends you want to touch on, maybe this year or next? I won't go out 5+ years, but what do you have your eyes on in terms of new
I,
technologies on the radar?
Yes, look, we always try to see what's the best. And,
Hmm.
I know people are talking about blockchain.
Mm,
If you ask me from a payment standpoint right now, payroll payment standpoint, I understand there is a lot of noise around it. DLT, blockchain, not, if you ask me, right now, from a workforce perspective, maybe very specific use case again,
mm,
where there is value. But right now, it's not I would say a driver right now. In the industry. What we see is right now we need the game changer. What I can foresee in the future is to have you mentioned I was working for Swift. Okay, in right now in the payments you have different rails. You can use bank transfer, you can use card rails, Visa,
mm,
Mastercard, and so on. And I think the future will be here, like to do sometimes you go on one rail, if it doesn't work or specific needs, you
mm,
switch to another one. To have a very dynamic approach. Like I gave you the example with the woman, the maiden name did not match. But if you use the card rail, it might go in, because the,
mm.
the proxy they use to do the check will not be the same. I think the future is here, is really by optimizing the route according to the case and so on, and to make sure it's always successful without delay. And it looks like something granted, given, but that's not the case because of all the complexity in every country. You will have different clearing system, different payments format. If you don't put the payroll stamp, it will not go as the top priority payments. If you need you work in UK, you will need the sort code. The dynamic, it's so complex, like every single country. Even when you take one country, you say, okay, Laetitia, let's only work with the UK. But in the UK, you may use faster payment, which is the
Mm.
real-time payment clearing system in the UK. But you have also BACS. When should you use real-time faster payments or BACS? It's all the things we are putting behind with the payments orchestrator to choose the right rail to make it a success.
Wow, mind blowing. So much there to unpack, but I think we're running out of time, and you're in the European time zone, so I know it's getting late there. But what are you excited about this year? I think you just had a big kickoff. Any travel or trips, events coming up you want to mention?
Yes, yes. I'm going to the FinTech meetup in Las Vegas. I think it's
Oh,
in
okay.
March, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking to, to my colleague who is managing the. I think it's great to meet all the payments player. We are a bit different because as I explained now, we have a dedicated solution for workforce payments. Okay. But we are regulated. We have e-money licenses. We have plenty actually, and it's great to meet and see the trends. I have this one. Also, we are looking at specific events in the industry because we have a lot of requests in shipping, maritime. We are
Mm,
attending some dedicated events to
mm.
address that. We are also in discussion, with the big industry player like Swift and so on. That's what's happening for the beginning of the year. I'm just talking for the first quarter. Let's see for the second quarter. I'm not clear yet at this stage.
Yes, well, you have a busy year ahead and incredible success in your industry, really making waves. Thanks so much for just sharing a little bit of insight and about yourself and Papaya Global. Really fascinating to watch those inside the industry and outside. It's such a fascinating topic. So look forward to meeting in the future.
Thank you, Evan. It was a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. Reach out to Papaya Global on Twitter and LinkedIn, all the places. They have great content to follow. Thanks
Great.
everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.